Hey, what's going on, everyone? Jay Bryan here with Millennial Porn Recovery. Just wanted to come to you all today and do a quick video, just telling my story, man, as far as my own personal recovery and things like that. So, I was first introduced to pornography when I was 11 years old. I was at a family member's home, and I went onto his computer and found like videos of naked women dancing. And I'll never forget that, because I remember feeling interested in it, but I didn't think much of it at the time. 2 years later, I was in the 7th grade. I was 13, I think, at that time. Yeah, 13. I turned 13 in the 7th grade. Yeah. And I was being bullied. I was being picked on. It was rough. I had someone to turn to. Like, I had my parents. I had my church. I had people I could have turned to, but I didn't feel comfortable turning to them about that, about being bullied. I didn't really defend myself. I was very sensitive. I just didn't feel as though I had somewhere to turn, or I had anywhere to turn. And but I did notice that around that time, I got more into technology. I got more into computers and searching the internet, because at that time, the internet was getting even bigger and growing. And I remember looking up. Back then it was just like a naked woman or something like that. It wasn't really everything that I would look up now if I were to get on there. And if I were to slip or something, that's not something that I would, it wasn't at this level. But I remember looking up a naked woman and, starting to really like it, because I was really coming into puberty at that time. And I was really starting to like seeing girls. I could see naked women. I could watch videos. And then I began to masturbate to those videos. And I noticed that when I got my release at the end, I noticed that it was, it calmed me down. It began to calm me down. And that's where the addiction actually started. Because anytime I would feel bad, sad, angry, frustrated, anytime I would feel any of these emotions, I would turn to the laptop or the computer at my home. And that just drove me deeper and deeper into my beginning of my addiction. So even through the years, the addiction got worse and worse. I started looking at worse and worse things, but I never told anyone, because what you'll find is that porn loves secrets. This is an addiction that loves secrets, and it's not an addiction as a drug addiction is. A drug addiction, you can see. You can see if someone's using meth. You can see if someone is using cocaine. You may never know someone is using pornography. You may never know what they're doing at night, late at night. If they have a family, after their family's gone to sleep, you may never know that. So it can be held in secret for years, decades even, I've never met anyone that was like 60 or 70 with a porn addiction, but I've heard stories. So it can be a secret for decades. But it stuck with me. It got worse and worse over time. And I began college and went through college, and it got worse and worse. I started to experience porn-induced erectile dysfunction. or let's not even, I didn't even know that's what it was back then. But I knew I was experiencing erectile dysfunction at the age of 20 or 21. So I assume it was a result of the pornography. Because I was fit otherwise. I used to go to the gym. I was healthy. Otherwise, I've been going to the local doctor there on campus. And so I knew I was healthy otherwise, but I had this addiction. And I was struggling, man. Met my wife. Or she was my girlfriend then, but I met her. She became my girlfriend, and then she eventually became my wife. And so, fast forward, finished college, started working, got married, and typically when you get married, you consummate your marriage, right? Well, when I got married, I did not consummate my marriage for 3 years. I didn't have sex with my wife for 3 years, you all. We did other things to, maintain that, to maintain her needs and my needs, but intercourse, we didn't do it. Why? Because I was in a relationship with pornography. So after 3 years in 2016, my wife and I were sitting at home one day, and she asked me, she had been asking me why I didn't want to have intercourse with her. And I told her I did. I had been telling her I did want to, but she's like, okay, well, why don't you? She was like, do you want to sleep with other guys? Do you want to leave me? Like, what's the problem? Is it me? Like, what's the problem? And I got so frustrated that I finally told her. I said, okay, look, I have a porn addiction. So when she heard that, she didn't really know how to react. She told me later on. But she knew that at least I needed some help. So she said, hey, you need to go get help. Counseling was the thing at the time. And I had never been to counseling. And I refused. I told her, no, I'm not going to counseling. It is not happening. I'm not going to counseling. I'm not telling a random person about my life that I don't know. And so she said, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start packing. And she was preparing to leave. It's not that day, but she wanted to leave, begin leaving the relationship, or at least the house. Let me be clear. She wanted to leave the house and separate from me. So I ended up kind of praying about it and coming to my senses, literally. And I told her, okay, I will gladly at least give it a try. So I went to counseling in probably the next month. So that was June of 2016 when my wife found out about my addiction. And then in July, I believe, or August was my first session with my counselor. Best decision ever. It literally changed my life. I was starting to make some progress in my recovery. And at the end of 2016, I lost my father to cancer. And that drove me into a huge relapse. So I was struggling, still slipping, relapsing, running back to pornography. And in 2018, and I'll kind of wrap the video up here. In 2018, I found a program made by a porn recovery coach. And the strategies that I signed up for it, I had to pay, but it was well worth it because the strategies he taught me actually allowed me to enter recovery. And man, the rest is history. Obviously, there's more to the story. I'm gonna have to cut this video a little shorter than I originally intended because my wife is looking for me, my kids are inside. But yeah, man, that's my story. And now I'm here to help other millennial men like myself to recover from this addiction. So I'm Jay. This has been Millennial Man Porn Recovery, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.